This is an experiment to interface DC motor with Arduino Uno board. The circuit diagram for this is here we are using one DC motor, L298N driver, DC motor driver module, and 12 volts battery and Arduino Uno board. And the DC motor positive supply pin, it is connected to out1, and negative it is connected to out2, and 12 volts battery positive is connected to 12 volts pin of L298N, and battery negative is connected to ground pin, and 5 volts you keep open, we are not using this, and pin number 2 of Arduino Uno is connected to IN1. Pin number 3 of Arduino Uno is connected to IN2, and pin number 5 of Arduino Uno is connected to enable A pin of L298N driver. And I am not using IN3 and IN4 and enable B because I don't have the other DC motor. I am connecting only one DC motor. Out1 and out2 for the first DC motor. If you want to connect the second DC motor, you can connect to out3 and out4, and the pin you should use I3 and IN3 and IN4 and enable B for the second DC motor. So this is all about the connection diagram. Now I'll explain the code. So here the first two lines and the third one. So these lines defines three constants for pin numbers. Motor IN1, motor IN2, and are used to control the direction of the motor. In this case, we are rotating the motor in forward direction and reverse direction. And the third pin, that is motor enable, it is used to control the motor speed using PWM technique. So pulse width modulation technique. Next, wide setup. So in this wide setup, the code configures motor IN1 and motor IN2 as output pins. So using pin mode function. So these pins are set to output pins to control the motor direction. Next is wide loop. Wide loop. So in wide loop, this loop is the main part of the program, and it is executed repeatedly. So digital write motor IN1 comma high, it sets the motor IN1 to high, which typically makes the motor to rotate in one direction. And digital write motor IN2 low sets the motor IN2 to low, which complements the direction set by the IN1. So if I send high to the first pin and the low to the second pin, then the motor rotates in one direction. Okay. Here analog write motor EN comma 128. So this will set the speed of the motor using PWM technique. So here 128, this number 128, it represents approximately 50% of the duty cycle, which means the motor runs at the half the speed. How you get 128? So the total count is 255. 255 into 50% you do, you will get 128. Okay. Then 2000. So this will cause the program for 2 seconds. So the motor will run in one direction for 2 seconds. Okay. Then reverse the motor direction using these lines. So this section is similar to the previous one. Here we are making the motor in one low and motor into high in order to change the direction of the motor. And here we are using the number 64. So the 64 represents, it sets the motor speed to 25%. So 255 into 25% you do, you will get 64. So you can change here. Here I have made 50% and 25%. You can make this as 75% and this as 50%. 75% of 255 is 191 and 50% of 255 is 128. So here you can do 191 and 128. So in this way you can change the value here. So either 25% or 50% or 75% you can do. Again, this will rotate for 2 seconds. Again, one more delay is there. So the motor will run in reverse direction for 2 seconds. After that, I want to stop the motor. So you send load to both the pins, the motor will stop. So, and it will be stopped for 2 seconds. After that, again, 2 seconds in one direction, 2 seconds in another direction, again 2 seconds off. So it will turn off the motor. So which stops the motor from moving. The analog pin motor EN, 0, it turn off the PWM signal and effectively stops the motor. So this will be there for 2 seconds. So creating delay before the loop repeats. So this loop through forward motion, reverse motion and stopping in continuous cycle as long as the Arduino Uno board is powered. The same program I have written in Arduino IDE software and whatever I have explained that I have typed here, and you have to select the board, go to tools and select the board as Arduino Uno board. See here, I have ticked here. Arduino Uno board you select and select the COM port. So after that, you upload the program. After uploading, your motor starts rotating in one direction for 2 seconds and another direction in 2 seconds, and it will be off for 2 seconds. This is an experiment to interface DC motor with Arduino Uno board, not with the Node MCU. With Arduino Uno board, we are interfacing DC motor. To do this experiment, we need Arduino Uno board, DC motor, 12 volts DC motor, 12 volts rechargeable battery, and this is the battery adapter, 12 volts battery adapter to charge this battery, and this is H bridge. So the IC number is L298N motor driver H bridge. So this is used to connect the motor. You should not connect DC motor directly to the port pins of Arduino Uno board. The port pin will definitely get damaged if you connect directly. So to avoid that, you should connect DC motor to the LN298N motor driver, and from LN298N driver module you should connect to Arduino Uno board. The laptop Arduino Uno board is connected to your laptop using USB cable, and from Arduino Uno board, pin number 2, it is connected to in 1 of L298N driver. Then pin number 3 of Arduino Uno, this is connected to in 2 of L298N driver. And pin number 5 of Arduino Uno, it is connected to enable A pin of enable A. So enable A pin of your L298N motor driver. And now we should connect power supply to the L298N. This is your 12 volts rechargeable battery. You can recharge with the help of adapter. So how to connect adapter to the battery? So use the adapter and connect it to battery. So in this way you can recharge your battery. Now we have already recharged to 12 volts and it is connected to H bridge. So how to connect? The black wire is a ground and that last one wire is positive 12 volts. So how we come to know that it is 12 volts? You should measure with the help of multimeter, then you will come to know that which one is 12 volts and which one is 5 volts. So plus 12 volts is connected to 12 volt pin of H bridge, that is L298N, that is the first pin, and ground pin of battery, it is connected to ground of H bridge. So this is about power supply. Next we should connect motor. This is our motor. Motor is already rotating now. The motor positive is connected to out one pin of driver, L298N driver, and motor negative is connected to out 2 of motor driver. So this is all about connection. Now I have changed the motor speed in anti-clockwise direction 75% and in clockwise direction 50%. So you can check here. So it is rotating very fast in anti-clockwise. In clockwise direction it is slow. So in earlier case, in clockwise direction I kept the speed high and in anti-clockwise slow. Here anti-clockwise high speed and clockwise low speed. So you can change the speed of the DC motor by adjusting the value in Arduino IDE. This L298 driver module we can connect to two DC motor because it has got two outputs, out 1 and out 2 and out 2 and out 3 and out 4, and IN1 IN2 for input terminal for first motor, IN3 and IN4 for second motor. And in the same way we have got enable A pin and enable B pin also. So since I am using enable P to enable A to control the first DC motor, you should connect this. And one thing you should remember, the ENA pin of L298N, it is connected to D5 of your Arduino Uno in order to control the PWM control, in order to do PWM control. Okay, and you can check the output here. In clockwise direction, 50% speed is taken. In clockwise it is rotating fast. In anti-clockwise 25%. See, it is slowly rotating. Clockwise fast rotation, anti-clockwise slow, because I have kept 25% duty cycle for anti-clockwise direction and 50% duty cycle for clockwise direction. That's why in clockwise direction it is rotating very fast. In anti-clockwise it is very slow.